All right, we're live again, and welcome back to the LOP training. We've after viewing the pre-qual tabs, we just had a really good question in reference to, what's the best way to do a pre-qualification? Do we drive them to the web? Do we do it over the phone? Do I do it in person? And it's really up to you as a loan officer the way that you want to do that. We're not telling you which is the best way. We're giving you just the tools to do it either way. So. Um, a couple of things we built as tools for the loan officers is, for example, let's say that you have this contact record you just started here and you got the basic information. Many times, one of the first questions I'll ask this candidate as I'm talking to them over the phone, where the realtor is giving me their phone number and such, is I'll get their email address. So once I put their email address in here, I'm going to ask them, look, Joe Test, we've got a couple different options for how you can do the pre-qual. We can do it over the phone, we can schedule an appointment, or you can visit our website. And many times they'll say, hey, I want to go ahead and visit your website. I'm at work right now. I really don't want to hear people hearing me talk about my personal business. And I'll say, great. So what I do is I come up here to communicate, and I go to send an email. And so what I tell them is, hey, I'm going to send you a link to our website that'll help you get started on this process. So in the subject line, it's blank right now, and your email is going to be set up with your generic template, but we've already written some emails for you to send out that address a lot of different things. So I'm going to come up here into the emails, and one of the emails we have is up here. We've got the just touching base and want to introduce myself on, and it automatically put the realtor's name in here. And this also has a link right here to visit the website, okay? We've also built another one where it is a pre-qualify application from, and so this is more of a direct approach where, again, it has the same link. And so what will happen is if they click on this, once they get this email, it'll take them to your personal web page, and it gives them the directions for where they can go apply online, okay? The other thing that I would probably do is if I'm doing it this way and sending them that email, I'm also going to go over here to the Process tab. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to add the suspect 90 days process. One of the things we've categorized in the system is working with clients is we've got suspects, prospects, and then people who've been pre-qualified. A suspect is somebody we don't have any information on. And many times, just because I send them that web link doesn't mean they're going to do it right away. So I want to make sure that we follow up with them. Well, we built this process called the suspect process, 90 days. And so when I add that, okay, tomorrow they're automatically going to get an email from me. And they're going to get a phone call that's scheduled for me following up if I haven't heard back from them, okay? So it's pretty easy. And now, many people say, hey, Joe, what's this suspect process? What does this look like? Well, on your screens, we built a file called AAA Mortgage Docs that's shared with everyone. If you click on AAA Mortgage Docs and you go into Loan Originator Pro, you can see some of the processes that we built out here. Now, I don't have the suspect process listed in here right now, but the suspect process is very similar to some of the processes like the PQ Gold process. And just to show you what this looks like, if we click on here, I've got all the copies of the emails that go out along with an overview of the process. So if you click here on the PQ Gold process, it kind of breaks out the whole calendar of here's what happens 2 days later, here's what happens 5 days later, here's the phone call that's scheduled 2 days later. Here's what the messages look like. You know, it's basically an HTML email where it's going to put your stuff in here, and it's going to be just a nice generic email like this, but it's all stuff that we get really good response rates on. That's all stuff that people want to know about the loan process, okay? So going back to this, you know, if I just talk to this person, this probably took me all of 2 or 3 minutes to set up. Now I've got a way to track this person in my PQ reports. I know that I've followed up with them. I know that I'm going to follow up with them until they do something with me. And the other thing too that I do is that I recommend that you do, and this is actually taught to me by one of the people that work here, and they just simply asked, hey, Joe, if you're sending out that message, why wouldn't I copy my buyer's agent on it? I said, you know what? Why wouldn't you? That's a great thing. I would absolutely do that. So I'll just do this now. Where is it? Just touching base. No, just touching base. Just want to introduce myself. So like, for example, if I was sending this message, I'd come up here to the CC and add, and I would add Donna Tidwell's information because this was my referral source. Guess what? This saves me a phone call to Donna saying that, hey, I sent your client an email. She already sees that I sent them the email, and I'm on doing the next thing. Does that make sense? So it just gives me a couple different options of how I can do this, okay? If I had an assistant, you know, what I'd also do on this is I'd CC my assistant. Now, instead of sending this to my assistant's email address, I would go down here to CC, add, and my assistant's going to be within the system, so I'm going to choose a user. So right now, my current assistant is Tyler, and I choose Tyler's name and go OK. And so now Tyler's going to copy this, and he'll know who this client is, and he'll know that I'm trying to pre-qualify them, okay? Make sense?
Totally. Yes.
All right. So with that, you know, just sharing a couple different options of how you can do the pre-qual. Again, you know, you can send the email, you can do it in person. One of the things that you want to make sure that you do, especially in the pre-qual 1 screen, is make sure you do and you put in here how you're doing the pre-qualification. Because what happens is, I've seen this happen, is somebody gets a web app in, they put it as phone app, and then what happens is the first email this customer gets, if they turn into what we call a PQ Gold, which is somebody that can buy, the first email they get is an invitation to the website, and it kind of makes you look like a dodo. So you want to pay attention to that because there's some intelligence built into the system that it looks for that sort of information. So with that, we'll get ended up here, and we'll get on to the next session next.